Right now, as you watch this, your brain is making thousands of decisions without asking your permission. It's deciding what to pay attention to, what to remember, what to ignore. And every single one of those decisions is wrong. Not sometimes, not occasionally, every single time. The rational mind you think you possess, it doesn't exist. What you call thinking is actually a collection of mental shortcuts, cognitive biases that hijack your decisions before conscious thought even begins. These aren't flaws in human reasoning. They're features, deadly features that once kept our ancestors alive, but now keep us trapped in patterns of self-destruction we can't even see. Daniel Kahneman spent decades proving something terrifying. Humans are predictably irrational. Not chaotically irrational, that would be manageable. Predictably irrational, which means your biases can be mapped, measured, and manipulated. His Nobel Prize-winning research revealed two systems in your brain. System 1 operates automatically, instantly, emotionally. System 2 believes it's in charge, the slow, deliberate, rational voice in your head. But here's what Kahneman discovered. System 2 is lazy. It lets System 1 run the show 90% of the time. You think you're driving. You're actually just a passenger watching the road. Confirmation bias turns your brain into an echo chamber. You don't seek truth, you seek confirmation of what you already believe. Stanford psychologist Leon Festinger documented this in his study of a doomsday cult. When their predicted apocalypse failed to arrive, did the believers abandon their faith? No, they doubled down. They claimed their devotion had saved the world. The stronger the evidence against your beliefs, the stronger your beliefs become. This isn't stupidity, it's system preservation. Your brain would rather be consistently wrong than occasionally uncertain. The availability heuristic makes you fear the wrong things. Psychologists Amos Tversky and Kahneman showed that people judge probability by how easily they can recall examples. You're more afraid of shark attacks than heart disease, plane crashes than car accidents, terrorism than falling down stairs. Not because these fears are rational, but because dramatic, rare events stick in memory while common, mundane dangers fade into background noise. Your brain evolved in small tribes where the memorable was usually the dangerous. Now you live in a world where the memorable is usually the irrelevant. Anchoring bias turns every negotiation into manipulation. The first number you hear becomes an invisible chain around your thinking. Real estate agents know this. They show you overpriced houses first, then the house they actually want to sell seems reasonable by comparison. Dan Ariely's experiments proved that even random numbers, the last 2 digits of your social security number, influence how much you'll pay for wine. Your rational mind believes it's evaluating options independently. It's actually just calculating distance from an arbitrary starting point someone else chose for you. The sunk cost fallacy keeps you trapped in failing relationships, dead-end jobs, and losing investments. You throw good money after bad, good years after wasted ones, because you can't bear to admit that previous investments were mistakes. Economists call this irrational. Psychologists call this human. Your brain doesn't distinguish between resources already spent and resources yet to be invested. Every cost feels current, every loss feels fresh, every mistake demands justification through continued commitment to the path that created the mistake. Dunning-Kruger effect makes the least qualified people the most confident. The incompetent don't just fail, they fail to recognize their own incompetence. Worse, they often get promoted, get elected, get followed, because confidence reads as competence to other people's biased brains. David Dunning's research showed that people scoring in the bottom quartile of tests estimated their performance in the top quartile. They weren't lying. They genuinely believed they had excelled. Incompetence blinds you to incompetence. Knowledge is the only cure, but knowledge is the last thing the incompetent seek. Here's the darkest truth. Knowing about cognitive biases doesn't protect you from them. Studies show that psychologists who spend their careers studying bias fall for the same mental traps as everyone else. Awareness creates the illusion of immunity, but immunity is the one cognitive bias that doesn't exist. Your brain will continue to take shortcuts, make assumptions, seek patterns that aren't there, avoid information that threatens existing beliefs. This isn't a bug you can fix with enough self-awareness. It's the operating system. But you can build better external systems. Create decision-making processes that work around your brain's limitations instead of pretending you can overcome them. Use checklists for important choices. They force System 2 to actually engage instead of letting System 1 run on autopilot. Seek out information that contradicts your existing beliefs, not to change your mind, but to stress test the foundations of your thinking. Set predetermined criteria for success and failure before starting projects, relationships, or investments, so the sunk cost fallacy can't rewrite your definition of victory after you've already begun losing. Surround yourself with people who think differently than you do, not people who disagree with everything. That's just reverse confirmation bias. People whose brains take different shortcuts, whose biases complement rather than compound your own. Diversity isn't political correctness. It's cognitive insurance against the predictable failures of any single human mind. The goal isn't to eliminate bias. That's impossible. The goal is to make better mistakes, to fail in new ways instead of repeating the same cognitive errors that have trapped humans for millennia. Your brain will always be lying to you. The question is whether you'll build a life that can function despite the lies, or whether you'll keep pretending the lies are truth. If you discovered that someone had been secretly manipulating every major decision in your life for years, would you be more angry that it happened, or that you never noticed it was happening?